This is my first day of real trading for many months, and in pre-hour trading made a huge big jump right here, which kind of tells me that there's a lot of bullish momentum going on there. I made a slight adjustment to the purple line here, the price line, to bring it down to this point. It was up at this point here, and that actually seems to match pretty well, but we are still kind of forming a pennant pattern, to be right honest about it. So that's interesting. But the blue line also is tracking the purple price line there as well on the 4-hour chart. And anyway, so I guess you could say that the 1-hour chart looks like it might be tipping down, the 4-hour chart looking like it going up. So we've got some conflicting information there. All right, so we're looking at the short-term chart here, and it does look like it kind of peaked out and it might be tipping over and dropping. So I did a short at this point, and it had a nice big drop right there, and I actually got out and I took the screenshot kind of after that had happened. So I made just $50 on that one. I think it dropped all the way down to the wick down here. I could have gotten out at like 125, but I didn't make that decision quick enough, so I didn't quite get out. And then it started to go back up, and before I lost any money on that trade, I just got out. So and it continued to go up, so I was glad that I did, and then it went up even further. So now it's formed this really long wicked doji right through here, and I think that's really interesting, showing the bulls winning. So that's kind of what I was seeing on previous charts. I think it's pretty bullish. And if you look at the the longer term chart, just like right through here, okay, the last 3 days, it's definitely been trekking upwards. So I do think that the bulls are a little bit stronger right now. However, we are sitting at that resistance level on the 1-hour chart. So there's that. Okay, so because it had that amazing recovery, I decided to do a long then at this point. And as soon as I did, it just kind of stagnated. It did get up a little ways, but then it would immediately drop back down. And I could see the MACD on the short-term chart was very concerning to me. It was starting to lose momentum. And I hadn't lost a lot of money at this point, but I was concerned that it was going to drop, down to here, which would be bad, or even worse, down to like this point, which would be like a $700 loss. So I didn't want to wait for that, and I wasn't really sure what was going to happen. So here we see the 15-minute chart and the 30-minute chart, and we can see red candles now formed on both of those. So that means that we may have formed a peak and are dropping. So I kept lowering my limit order to get out, and it would go up and then come really close. Like here, I'm just like one tick above where I got in, so I'm in the green. But it would never quite get up as far as I wanted it to, so I kept lowering it here. And then it, the screen actually froze up on me about 4.5 minutes before the opening bell, and I couldn't see what was happening. And so I brought it up on my phone, and sure enough, it had taken a big drop down to here, and it hadn't taken my exit trade. I had actually lowered it down to this point to get out at a $50 loss, which would have put me at break even. It didn't take that trade, and so I didn't get out, and it dropped down. I lost up to 125 at one point, but then it immediately bounced back up. So I was relieved that it hadn't dropped any further than that. I was prepared. I brought it up on my phone, and I was prepared to get out if I needed to, but I didn't, thankfully. So I'm hoping to just get $50 out of this trade now, because I am concerned that it's not going to go up. So I lowered it down to there, and it did take just shortly before, or just after, I can't remember now, the opening bell. And sure enough, as soon as that happened, it did take a nosedive, and it dropped down quite a bit. So now I'm sitting at 2 trades, $100 in profit, and the opening bell has been almost a minute ago. So I decided to do a long at this point, because we see good evidence of that here. We see a good recovery here. we see that it bounced off of a pretty decent support right there, which is also a support there. And the wick actually was holding its support right there as well. So I did a long at this point, and it started to go up, and it went up very nicely. And so I just placed an exit order, and it kept going up further than that. So I actually got filled a little bit higher than I had placed my order, which was awesome. And then that was the end of my third trade. It ended up making me $150 more. So now I'm at $250 in 3 trades, and it does look like that was a good time to get out because it kind of petered out and started to drop again. So I decided at that point, it was about 9:32, and I watched it for quite a while, like maybe, how long was that? 15 minutes after that, and tried to make predictions, and none of them really panned out very well. I was wrong about almost every one of them. So I decided not to make any more trades. I just wasn't really sure what was going on in the market right now. And even though that was a little smaller of a day perhaps than I was hoping for, it's still a very good day. And I need to stop. So I ended up making $228.10 for the day. And I'm done. Thanks for joining me.